Configuration of patient demographic and visit information. Click on Edit. This used to be called System in the previous software version, and then choose Global Setup. We consider this to be a global setting since it is used by all users and it is applied to all patients. Choose Patient and Visit Information Setup. This dialog looks very similar to the configuration screen from the previous software version, except now it has some extra columns and extra rows. Let's review this very quickly. On the left-hand side, we can see the names of the fields that are used in the database. The next column shows the label associated with these fields. We can change them as necessary. So for example, instead of given name, we have decided to call it first name, and we can change these labels as appropriate. Next, we have a column that defines the required fields. Until we have input information for these fields, the patient information will not be saved. The next column is the main screen. We can enable the fields for display and allow us to input the corresponding information. So in this case, we are going to put in the first name, last name, the gender, but we have disabled the entry of address. That means we cannot put the address of the patient in the patient demographic area. The last column allows us to select the fields for the report, and by and large, the fields that are selected in the main column are also selected in the report. So this is exactly the way it used to be in the previous software version. So what's new? Let's scroll down. And now we also find the fields for visit information. This used to be two separate windows in the previous software. So just like visit information, we can turn on the fields to be displayed in the main screen and in the report. At the bottom, we have 6 user-defined visit fields. This is an increase from 4 fields from the previous software version, but the configuration remains exactly the same. We can configure this by looking at a sample patient report. We can turn on the fields on the main screen, and my suggestion is that turn on the same fields in the report, in the new visit dialog and new patient dialog. Let's keep them identical. There are some very special situations where we may want these lists to be different, but as a starting point, let's keep it simple. Everything that is turned on in the main screen is also turned on in the new patient, new visit and report. So now we come to the question, what is this new patient dialog and new visit dialog? I'm going to show you very shortly that we have changed the way we put in the patient demographic and visit information. It used to be 2 separate screens. Now we have a single screen that allows us to put the information. But the way we put the information can be slightly different. If it's a new patient, we want to put in the patient demographic as well as the visit information. But when we have a new visit, we really don't want to worry about the patient demographics. That's not going to change. So we want to focus mainly on the visit information. So it's a very subtle difference in how we approach entering this information. Anyway, make the changes as appropriate, click on OK, and these changes are saved. Let us now look at the difference between the new patient dialog box and the new visit dialog box. So here I have selected a patient. If I want to do a new visit, I'm going to click on New Visit. Notice that I have got patient demographic information on the top, visit information on the bottom. The fields within the patient demographic are grayed out because this is a new visit and this information is not going to be different. As I try to erase the medical record number, it won't let me. So this is a subtle difference between a new visit dialog and a new patient dialog. So in a new visit dialog, I'm focusing mainly in the visit information. But there could be a rare instance when, we put in a wrong patient name or the date of birth was wrong, and we really need to change it. If that's the case, we can click on this icon over here which says Edit Patient, and now the top portion of this window is made available and I can edit the information as appropriate. But again, by and large, if it's a new visit, we are not going to change the patient demographic information. And that's why this is kind of showed in a grayed out manner. So this is the way the screen is going to look when you have a new visit. Now let's compare this to a new patient dialog. You go to new patient by clicking on the icon. Now I have the same information, patient demographic on the top, visit information at the bottom, and all fields are available for data entry. This concludes configuration of the patient demographic and visit information.